I've got a new 2x8 here. I'm going to cut it out with my chop saw, and then I'm going to cut these notches in the end, plane the corners to chamfer them, and then we'll be ready to put it back on the sign out front. You can follow along while I do it. Hi, Sam again with Mountain View. I'm at home tonight, but over the weekend I took apart part of the sign out in front of the building, and here comes a train. You may not be able to hear me. Anyway, I took apart part of the sign, and I'm going to make a new piece for it. This was the board that was on the very top of the sign, kind of a roof to keep the rest of the sign dry. Now, I'm not really going to measure this. I'm just going to use the board that was already there because it was a good fit. I will mark my lines on here, cut it out, and go from there. Yes. Okay, now that I've got that line transferred, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. My workbench is a little cluttered here, as you can probably tell. It's been a while since I've worked out here. Okay, and there I should have two 48-inch pieces, because that's what the other one, the old piece, measured out to be to begin with. Now, obviously, I can't cut these notches with a chop saw. So what I'm going to do with that is use either a reciprocating saw, or I may just use my oscillating saw. It makes a good straight cut, and I can plunge straight in and cut it. Okay, I have finally managed to saw through this knot hole. So now it's just a matter of knocking this out, which should be easy, but it's not. And I will sand this, get some of the burrs off of it, and then next time I'll do some planing on the corners and get it ready to put back up on the sign. I'm going to be working on the sign again for the Mountain View, and I've got some copper here, so what we're going to do is make a little roof that will go on top of it and save it from weather damage. As you can see right here, this was the old top for the sign, and it's pretty weather beaten. It's got a lot of splinters, pretty bad shape. So we made the other one, and I don't want it to get the same way. So we've got it, we've already got it on the sign, and it's primed. But what we're going to do now is take this one and use it for a template to cut the copper that will go on top of the new sign. I bought this copper online, and it came from Amazon, I believe. No, it came direct from the company. This is what we've got. It's 8 mil copper, 12 inches wide, 6 feet long, and I'm going to cut that to fit the sign, which is about 10 inches wide and 4 feet long. So I should have plenty here to do that with. Okay, 8 mil copper is really thin, so what I'm going to have to do on this is lay it out flat, put the template on top of it, and cut around it. That keeps me from bending the copper before I want to. When I'm done, I can roll it back up in a roll and take it up, straighten it back out again. And I'm going to cut this copper a little bit wide and a little bit long because this original top had square corners. The top that we've got is angled at 45 degrees on each side and on each end to allow the water to run off a little better. So we're going to measure this out, make sure it's centered, and I'll cut it just the way it is. Now this is also going to be kind of sharp, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. Wear gloves when you're doing this because it will be really easy to get cut. I don't wear gloves for much, so I'll take care of it without them. I'm going to cut this to 2 inches wide from each edge. 2 inches of extra width. Actually, I think I'll go a little farther than that because it needs to lap under the edge just a little bit. I'm going to go 2 1/4 inches. Okay, snapping that off worked fine for the straight line, but for cutting these squares out of the end of the copper, I'm going to have to use scissors. So, got my pretty big handle scissors here, and we're going to cut this out and get it ready to go. As you can see, this 8 mil copper is pretty thin, and you can cut it with scissors or just about anything. I think the blade was a little dull on my utility knife. And there's what's left of that. And I'll do the same thing on this end. Okay, I've got some little burrs here that have to come off, some little splinters so they don't cut me as I'm working with this. And this gets rolled back up and put away until time to put it on top of the sign. And we did put the copper on top of the sign. I think it turned out pretty well. We've also got some little copper points on top. Underneath we've got LEDs strung. Hopefully we'll have all the kinks in that ironed out soon. The custom metal sign that goes over this, by the way, was made by a great little company about 6 miles from Whitesburg called the Rustic Rooster. Since we're putting a sign up, I'm sure you know we're about to open. We should be open in September. We're working every day and hopefully we'll have it ready before festival time. When you're in eastern Kentucky, come see us at the historic Mountain View Bed and Breakfast, Whitesburg, Kentucky.